See, you get lazy when you start getting successful. This is why teams don't repeat, by the way. How many teams do you see go back and win a series, win the whole thing again the next year after they win it? You know why? They exert so much energy trying to win it, then they get comfortable. And then somebody else is hungrier. Right now, somebody's trying to steal away one of your mortgage prospects right now while you're sitting here. Right now, somebody is out there working hard to take away somebody you've had a relationship with for years. Right now, somebody's calling on one of your people that you've gotten lazy with, right or wrong? Right. And they're waiting for you to screw up and mess up so they can take them. I know, because look at how many mortgage originators I coach. I coach $400 million people, and they are hungry. $100 million, and they are so hungry and aggressive at how they go get business from people. I'm learning stuff from them. I'm like, man, he's good. She's good. They're waiting on somebody to make a mistake. They're right there knocking on the door, waiting on you to get lazy, see? So what happens at the end of the year a lot of times, and I also think this one, and nobody said this, and I think we just get tired. Don't you? We just fatigue. You've pushed hard throughout the year. Now you're kind of toward the end of the year, and you're just kind of in that fourth quarter, and you get tired. So when you get tired, you get fatigued. When you get fatigued, you quit doing what you should be doing. So today I'm going to kind of show you, if we were to recalibrate and finish the year strong, what we're going to do is we're going to not limp across the finish line. We're going to push across the finish line, because a good start doesn't guarantee a good finish. Would you agree with that? A good start doesn't guarantee a strong finish. So what we got to do is, how do we finish across the finish line, and then how we build momentum versus crank that engine up again, right? And so we're going to go inside the mindset of a monster, okay? And you know, I've got a coaching program called Monster Producer. I've got over 350 people in that program now. And we probably had 50 in it when I was back coaching you a couple years ago. Now we've got 350, and sometimes growing by 30 and 40 a month. Sometimes we're signing up 15 to 16 a day. It is rapidly growing at a 200% clip. Okay, so guess what it is? When you're coaching 350 people, there's 15 to 25 of them that are stone cold killing machines. I mean, they are the best of the best. Okay, the guy traveling on the plane with me the last 2 days earns well over $2 million a year in personal income. And I'm watching how they attack this. So if we were to go inside the mind of a monster producer, here's what I would ask you. How do they think? How do the top producers think? How do they respond? How do they take risks? Here's a big one, and we're going to talk about this one. How do they overcome this? How do they overcome this? Because there's someone sitting on the fence with you right now. It's a real estate agent. It's a strategic partner. It's somebody that you've been working, and for some reason they're sitting on the fence on you. And the reason they're sitting on the fence on you is because they've got some kind of fear. That fear breeds an uncertainty. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to overcome that objection today, because how many people have people sitting on their pipeline that know they want to do business with you, but there's something holding them back, right? And you haven't figured out what that something is yet. They're afraid of something. What could they be afraid of, by the way? What could they be afraid of?
FOMO.
Okay, say again.
FOMO.
What does that mean?
Fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out on what?
Something better.
Something better. That's the world we live in, right? What else? What about you? What do you think?
Just fear that you're not going to give them the best service or the best rate. Or
Okay, yep. Fear you're just going to drop the ball. Fear you're not going to be as good. Anything else? What other fears do they have? There's a big one that you're missing, because how many of you are trying to extract a relationship away from another mortgage originator? You know one of the greatest fears they've got that you haven't addressed? Fear of breaking up with the person they've been with for years. Is that a fear? Fear of going, how do I go tell Chief Phelps, who's been my guy for 5 years, that he's no longer good enough for me? When you may be clearly better than he is. I want to break up with him, but I'm afraid to have that conversation with him. So I just suffer through this relationship with him when I really want to come over to you. See, I'm actually scared to have that conversation. That's one thing I'm afraid of. So they see you and they go, yeah, I know I need to move. I'm not happy, but this person has been with me for years and I'm very loyal to them and I don't know how. That's a big fear, right? To go and tell a person they're no longer good enough for you, that you've been there for years. That's a fear. So what you're seeing is this. Big-time monsters know how to overcome these fear and insecurities. So when a person has uncertainty, I want you to think of this. Uncertainty is ambivalence. It's doubt. It's vacillation. I'm going back and forth. Should I use you? Should I not use you? Should I move forward? Should I not move forward? And the way you overcome that is by feeding people more information. Okay? And so as we get to the end, sometimes I think we all, including me, need a good attitude adjustment. Can the mortgage business make you cynical? Can the mortgage business break your heart? Can it break your spirit? Can you become cynical toward people? Cynical toward the process? So sometimes we need to adjust our own attitude. What is attitude? A settled way of thinking. Give me another word for settled. Static. Established. What about complacent? Which is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. I've got a settled way of thinking about something that I need an attitude adjustment about. Right? I just need to be recalibrated. Big time people get knocked down just like everybody else does, but what they do is they get back up much quicker. They don't carry that bitterness with them. They take their medicine and they keep on going. So here's what I would tell you. Let's look at this one right here. I want you to think, write down the name of a person right now or two people that are in your pipeline that have indicated interest in using you, but for some reason they're on the fence. Just write down one or two key relationships. And you've been working them, and they could totally change the whole game for you. Anybody got anybody like that? Could be a total game changer? What about the guys in the back? Y'all got a guy like that? No? Yes? That could totally change the game for you? One or two key relationships? Yeah? So I want you to ask this question. What is stopping them from taking action with you? If you had to tell me, if you had to pin it down, what specifically is the reason they're staying with who they're with versus coming to you if you are clearly better? And you've done a great job articulating how much better you are, and you know you're better. What is really holding them back from saying, I'm going to give you a shot?
Fear.
Because that is the objection. See, in the South, when people give you objection, most of the time, you know what they're doing? They're lying. Now, why do we lie in the South? There you go. You seem like a good person. You've worked hard. You've taken me to lunch. You brought me bundt cakes. Right, Blake? How in the world could I hurt your feelings? So what I do is I don't tell you the truth about why I'm not going with you. I give you objection. Objection is this opposition of thought. It's a feeling, right? It's just a feeling. So here's what I do. What do I tell you? Give me all the things you hear.
I already got a guy.
Already got my guy. What else? Rate. Okay, I can get a better rate somewhere else. What else? Need to think about it. What else do we hear?
I need to talk to my wife.
Oh, need to talk to my wife. Need to talk to my husband. Need to sleep on it. Don't have money for the down payment if we're talking about a consumer. What about if you're talking, it's okay if you can talk about that one. What about any partners? What do you hear from real estate agents? Timing's just not right. Call me back 6 months from now.
My client already has someone.
My client already has someone. We got somebody in our office we have to use. And some of these may be true, but some of these are lies, aren't they? What are they really doing? They're just pushing you back just a little bit. They're objecting, so they're afraid of something. Okay? And so when you think about this, fear is what's holding me back. I'm afraid of something, but I'm not telling you the truth. So I want to show you a formula I want you to start using when people give you objection. Objection is just opposition of thought. That's just a feeling. Can a feeling be influenced? Yes or no? Do you think if I'm uncertain and I go to Joe Stanford and he's very certain, do you think that his certainty can influence my uncertainty? Do you think my insecurity can be influenced by his confidence? See, when two frames collide with each other, typically one person is more certain than another. One is insecure and one is confident. Right? Typically the one that's confident wins. So when I come to you, I don't know what to do. You're an expert. You're supposed to tell me what to do. Okay? And when you get to a level where my trust factor with you is much higher than who it's currently with, at least I start thinking, well, maybe I should go with this person at Accurate. Maybe they are a lot better. Maybe I am in a passive relationship with who I'm with. Maybe they are much better for me. I at least start thinking about it, okay? So when you meet opposition, I want you to write this formula down because it's very critical. These are the reasons people are not moving forward, because they're afraid of something. When you meet opposition of thought, I want you to go through this formula. Number one, I want you to listen and acknowledge. Okay, so I'm going to play this out. If I were to listen and acknowledge, I go and I ask for your business. Many of you guys have been coached on the explanation of service. So you get in front of a person, and I've seen this, oh my gosh, I've seen it so many times. I've seen it in the past couple of days of people who have been coached on their explanation of services and then get up there and push a friggin' mortgage product. Nobody gives a damn about your mortgage product. Can we all agree on this, yes or no?
Yes.
People do business with other people that believe the same things they do. Okay? So don't push your product. Push what you believe and see who believes it too. Okay? So get up there and say, let me tell you what it is we believe at Accurate Mortgage. Let me tell you why we believe that. Let me tell you what it is we do. Let me tell you how we do it different than every other mortgage company out there. Let me tell you how many families I've been able to help. There's probably going to be some people in here that are in passive relationships with their current person. Maybe they're not as satisfied as they could be. We believe all I need is just one chance to prove to you that this can be better. Quit pushing a product. A mortgage is a manufactured product pushed through an assembly line, popped out to solve a problem for a person that can't buy a house with cash. There is nothing sexy about it. There's nothing interesting about it. You are who I'm interested in. Everybody with me? And I can't tell you how many people I see get up in front of a group of people and push a product. Sell your beliefs. Now, when you sell your beliefs, there's going to be some people go, I don't believe the same thing they do. Is that okay, yes or no? Yes. Of course it is. Some will, some won't, so what? Blake is selling speed. Insurance, who cares? We can get the insurance anywhere. He's selling speed. He's willing to get in front of you and make himself known to you. He's selling, I will solve your problem faster and better than anybody else is. He ain't selling insurance. He's selling, you call me anytime and I'll guarantee I'll take care of this, right? No automation, no somebody at the office, no this. I will take care of that. He's selling speed. So when you get in front of people and share your explanation of service, there's going to be people go, I'm interested in this cat. This is interesting. Never heard a mortgage person talk like this. If you're not using your EOS, you need to be using it, right? Because if not, you're just selling a manufactured product, guys. And I'm saying this out of love for you because I coach a lot of mortgage people, and I just see this over. It's just a huge mistake I see people make, okay? Now, when you get opposition, so you go out to push and you share your EOS. You and I are face to face. I'm trying to get your business, which I know is exhausting, isn't it? I got to take you to lunch, got to wine you and dine you. You and I get together and cut each other's hair, whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? And we got to go through this whole big deal of courting each other. Isn't this exhausting, yes or no? It's exhausting. Some point along the lines, you pitch me your services, and I'm going to give you opposition of thought. That's all an objection is. When I give you opposition of thought, timing's just not right. I really like you, but the timing is just not right. That's the opposition. Everybody follow me? Now, here's the formula I want you to start using. Number one, I want you to listen and agree. So I'd want him to say, I understand. I don't care what they tell you. I like people with purple hair versus blonde hair. I don't care what they tell you. You need to agree. I understand. I understand why you'd want the timing to be right here. Okay? Then I want you to ask a question. This is how you isolate the real truth. I want you to ask this question. Is there any other reason outside of timing that is keeping you from moving forward with me? Now, why would I ask that question? What am I really trying to figure out? Trying to figure out the truth. Timing's a lie, right? In the South, we lie. Not maliciously, but just because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. So I give you some excuse about timing. So if that's not the real objection, what's the real objection? He don't know yet because he hadn't got down to the real truth of it. So I said, call me back 6 months from now. If I say call me back 6 months, what should he say? First, he should what? Listen and agree. I understand why you'd want to wait 6 months, right? What's the next question? The key question you got to ask when anytime anybody objects. Is there any other reason outside of this one reason that's keeping you from moving forward with me? And if I go, well, at the minute I balk, guess what you know? I lied. Now you got a new objection. Well, I've been with this guy over here for 4 years and he's not very good. Matter of fact, he sucks. But man, I really do like him. I mean, he's come to my wedding and over at my house, and we'd watch football and drink beer on the weekends together. And man, I just don't have the heart to go tell him. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that's the real objection. But what did I tell you? Told you it was time, and her call me back 6 months from now. What do you say if I give you a new objection? I understand. I believe in loyalty too. Is there any other reason outside of you not wanting to tell him that he's not very good and you want to come to me that's keeping you from moving forward? Listen, right? Acknowledge, isolate, and then I validate. So here's how you validate. So if I could show you a way to get out of that relationship, if I could give you the phrasing to use that would make you feel confident, if I could give you enough confidence for you to go take action, you're telling me that you'd go break up with him and come to us, right? You see how I ask him right back at the end? Is that what you're telling me? See, I got a Merrill Lynch guy in our coaching program, and he came to me and he said that my financial advisor was no longer big enough for me. Said he was good for you back when you were a little high school basketball coach, but he ain't good enough for you now. And at Merrill Lynch, we can do all this stuff. We got estate attorneys and tax attorneys and this person. And really who you need to be with, coach, is with us at Merrill Lynch, because we can do so much more, right, than your little advisor that you had since you were 30 years old. I'm not disagreeing with him. You know what I said? Maybe you're right. How do I go back and tell him, who was with me when I didn't have any money at all, that he's no longer good enough for me? Didn't have an answer for that. Tell me how to break up with him. Tell me what I'm supposed to say. Am I supposed to tell him he's no longer good enough for me? Am I supposed to tell him that the skills that got us out of Egypt can't get us to the promised land? Am I supposed to tell him that some people were more valuable in the past than they are in the future? Will you come and break up with him for me? Because I'm scared to tell him, because I really like him. You understand what I'm saying? And I do think he's good. He may not have the resources you got, but he's still pretty good. You understand what my fear is right there? Now, I want to add one more piece to this. So we got 4 pieces to the objection. It's very critical because I got some fear. And you're not helping me. What do most people say? Oh, I've got somebody. What do most people say? All right. And then they use this one. I don't mind being what?
Number 2.
I don't mind being number 2. See what kind of supplication this is? I've even heard people say, I don't mind being a backup to the prom date. I don't mind being a backup to the prom. Listen to what you're saying. I don't mind being a backup in case the real date don't show up. Listen to what you're saying here. Just listen to it. So the way you challenge a prospect is you reframe their thinking. So the last piece of overcoming objection is to challenge them. So how could you challenge a person? We could wait 6 months. I understand why you don't want to wait 6 months. But we would have lost a whole lot of momentum if we wait 6 months. Can't we both agree? Wouldn't you rather go ahead and end this relationship now so we can start fresh with each other in January and get this thing right? Don't you remember the 15 times you told me how miserable this is and how bad they've done on the loans? Remember when you told me that every time and how you complained about it? See, you challenge their thinking just a little bit, right? And you make them think, you know what, you're right. I do need to do this. Now, does this work on everybody? This is just a formula. I used it on my 5-year-old daughter the other night.
That's an easy one. If somebody's telling you they're having a tough time with their existing relationship, there's a big foot in the door right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if they're saying, no, my guy's great, I mean, she's Carrie Ann Sear, she's amazing, how do you crack that nut?
I understand. She is amazing. Is there any other reason outside of her being amazing that would keep you from moving forward with me? No, she's pretty darn good. Okay? So how could I challenge a person's thinking when you're working with a person that's that good versus a person that's that good? What could you say?
What does she do that I don't do that would make me to?
Yeah. Hey, what is she doing that I'm not doing that I need to do? That could be one. Right?
What is she not doing that?
What is she not doing that you'd like to hear? Hey, I'm open for some coaching and some feedback here. Right?
Oh, by the way, I know she has tons of clients out there. I can give you one-on-one personal service.
Right? All I'm saying is all of these are ways just to make them think. Does that make sense? Just challenge them a little bit. What's the worst thing they say? No, they're already saying no anyway. You're not going to lose them. Right? Just make them think a little bit. Just challenge them just a little bit. So when you get objection, all right, so let me ask it to you this way. Do you think that growing your mortgage business is predicated on your ability to go out and garner new relationships that you don't currently have right now. Yes or no? And where are those people going to come from? Are they not typically already with other people? Yes or no? So your ability to overcome soft objection is really critical to you being able to get 2 or 3 more game-changing relationships, because when you use people like Sear or any of the big people I coach, they are good at extracting relationship from other people. If you saw all the tricks and strategies and tactics that they use to go steal customers away from other people, I got to give them credit, man. They're creative. I saw one of my mortgage originators do something today in a follow-up. I was like, dang, that was good. The follow-up was creative. They're not static. They're constantly like, let me give me a new strategy here. How to get my foot in the door. How do I do this? What am I willing to do? Where am I willing to go? What room am I willing to get in? Who am I willing to get access to? How can I get proximity to that person? Because that's all I need is proximity. Does that make sense? The people that are not getting those relationships are not willing to do those things. They're not willing to get proximity to the target. They're not willing to find the pain point. They're not willing to articulate how they can solve the problem. They're not willing to keep coming back over and over. They're just simply not willing to do all that. So what do? They just accept it. They just accept it. That's theirs and this is mine. It's a competitive world, guys. Okay, and this is part of doing the deal. So just know that there's some reason that people are not moving forward with you that you got to overcome. If you don't overcome it, they're not going to move forward. Okay, they're not going to move forward. Now, when you're thinking about this concept of this 90-day burn, I want you to think of it like this. Let's say that I wanted to get in great shape. Okay? And I need something to look forward to, okay? Something that motivates me, okay? So I go to my trainer and I say, man, I need to get in much better shape because I'm, speaking at this big event. There's going to be 10,000 people there. Man, I really need to be in the best shape of my life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and I need you to help me. If he says, look, you got to come 5 days a week for the next year of your life, what do you think I'm going to say immediately? Come on, man. I can't go 5 days a week for the next year. What if he says it like this? You give me 90 days. You give me 3 days a week for the next 90 days. And I will get you in the best shape of your life. How many people could take that? Just 90 days, right? Just 3 days a week for the next 90 days. I want you to think of your mortgage business like that. You give me 90 days. 90 days of concentrated effort. 90 days of focus. Okay? Or even at this point, 60 days. You give me 60 days of taking your activity level through the roof. When I said rhythm, what I'm trying to do is get you in a rhythm. Right? Like when I'm mapping out my days, I'm mapping out my days to get in a rhythm. And the rhythm is what produces the opportunity. Everybody with me here? The rhythm is what produces the new leads. The rhythm. That's the rhythm I'm trying to get you in. So here's the rhythm I want you to think about. And I want you to pick which portions of this you are willing to commit to. It's a Vince Lombardi moment, right? You know, Lombardi made every one of his people step across the line every day when they showed up for practice. Can you imagine 75 grown men, tough football players, and Lombardi looks at them up. He goes one by one. Are you in? And if they wasn't in, he said, don't step across the line. Every single day, he made them step across the line. Isn't that interesting? And one by one, they lined up 70. Can you imagine Joe, Stanford, and Mike meeting you at the door every morning? Hey, who's in? If you're not in, don't step across the line. If you're in, step across, baby. Let's go fight together, right? That's what Lombardi did. Well, here's what I want you to think of. These are actions you could take in the last 90 days of the year to stimulate your business. I know what you're thinking. As soon as you look at it, what's the first thought that you have? It's okay. All progress starts by telling the truth. Where will I find the time? Because I'm just so what? Busy. All right, so let me reframe you just a little bit. What's the number one purpose of any business? To create a customer. Number one purpose of any business is to create a customer. So what's more important during the day than creating new customers? If you're not spending time with current customers or getting new ones, what's more important during the day? Can you find anything more important? Let me ask you it again. Is there anything that would be more important to you in a work day than spending time getting new customers or spending time with your current customers? No. Nothing. No thing. So what I'm trying to get you to think of is every day here's what some actions you could be doing. Even if you do 25% of this, 30% of it, 40% of it. Number one, my goal is to try to call out to 5 current clients every day. When's the best time to ask for a referral?
Every time we talk to them.
When is the absolute best time to ask for a referral?
After the call.
Right in the middle of the transaction. Right? At closing. Within the first 30, 60, 90 days. Listen, you live with anybody long enough, you'll find something not to like about them. Right? So the best time to ask for referral is during the beginning. Like right now, if you're doing transactions with people, you need to be asking for referrals. But how do you ask for that referral? Hey, has this been valuable for you? If it's been valuable for you, man, I know it'll be valuable for somebody else. Who else do I need to be helping? See how non-invasive that is? You know what I say? Man, I love working with you. I'd take 100 of you if I could. But I can't get 100 of you, so if I like working with you, I know I'm going to love working with people just like you. Who else do I need to be working with just like you? The best time is in the beginning. I heard a person say once, if we acted like in the end of a relationship like we acted in the beginning, there'd never be an end. Remember, so when I'm calling out my current clients, I never end a conversation without asking this question. Was this valuable for you? Because if it was, who else do we need to be helping? Well, you need to be helping this person. Hey, can you bring them to class? Can you invite them? Right? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, so every day we're trying to call out 5 current clients. Number 2, we're trying to call out and work a hit list. Give me an example of where a hit list could be. New money. This is new money. Where could a hit list come from? If I was looking for new money, where could a hit list come from?
Existing clients.
Okay, so let's put that one under strategic partners, right? So a hit list could come as I'm calling on strategic partners, feeder systems, okay, opportunities to generate large amounts of referrals that are coming in. That's my hit list, okay? All right, where else could they come? Past clients. Could come from current clients that are asking for referrals, right? Or it could come from just straight up new money. Leads are coming in, right? Now let's define a lead. In my assessment, a lead is not something, now I may get in trouble for saying this, but a lead is not something that Accurate pays for and hands you. If you work for me, I would not classify that as a lead. A lead in my book is a created opportunity that you went out into the marketplace and you solved a problem and somebody was willing to exchange their money for your solution. That's a lead. Every other lead's a bonus. Everybody follow me here? Because I always look at this as what if I didn't have any leads? I tell my sales team, what if I don't go out and speak? What if I don't write books? What if I don't do YouTube videos? How would you create leads then? You'd be solely responsible for going out and finding a problem to solve, right or wrong? That's creating opportunity. You know why? Never let another person stand between you and your destiny. It's your financial future. When you put your future in somebody else's hands, that's a bad place to be. You follow me? Take the leads you get as bonuses and go out and create leads. The way we create leads is this right here. A lead is a created opportunity. Okay, now look at the farm club. There's people sitting on your fence right now. Why are they sitting on the fence based on what we've been talking about today? Why are they sitting on the fence? Because they have what? Fear and uncertainty. So how do we overcome that? We feed them information. We feed them information. We feed them information. And I want you to learn to take total responsibility. So if a person doesn't call you back, is it their fault or is it your fault? Eric on my team tried this today. He's been trying to get in touch with the real estate agent down in Keller Williams. She wouldn't call him back. And he's been listening to me the last couple of days when I talk about total responsibility. And Eric, what did you say when you called her today that she responded immediately?
I said, first let me apologize for not following up properly because you haven't called me back. What have I not explained to you?
First, let me apologize for not doing a good job of following up with you. Because if I did a good job following up with you, you'd have called me back or took my phone call. It ain't your fault you hadn't called me back, it's mine. You know what she immediately do?
Immediately text me back.
She immediately texted him back. You know why? He took total ownership of it. See, she's been hitting that ignore button. Right? He said, look, it ain't your fault, it's mine. If I was more interesting, you'd call me back. If I had a better solution, you'd call me back. If I'd done a better job leaving a voicemail, you'd call me back. If I could offer you something better than what you got, you'd call me back. It ain't your fault, it's my fault. When you talk to people like that, they'll say, no, that's good, man. Because you know why? Total ownership. So let me ask you a question. Let's say Chief says, man, I've been trying to get their attention every way I can. Man, I just can't get their attention. I can't get their attention. Here's what I would ask Chief. Chief, have you put it in a video? Nope. Have you put it in an audio file you could send? Nope. Have you had somebody else on the team call them? Nope. Have you had your best client call them? Nope. So have you really done everything you can to get their attention? Everybody with me here? This is a game of getting and keeping people's attention, guys. The person that keeps the most attention wins. So when they're in your farm club, that means they have indicated interest in using you at some point, but they're stalling, and they're stalling because they're afraid. They're afraid, now they got uncertainty. Because they got uncertainty, they're ambivalent. Everybody with me here? So remember this, an object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by an outside force. Who's going to be the outside force? You are. So how many touches are we going to go in the farm club? And how many touches do you think most originators are going? I mean, I think based on when I just asked this question, no scientific evidence, most salespeople are going 2 touches on a lead. Maybe 3, maybe 4, but very few people are going 7 to 15, right? Or if they are going 7, they're getting objection, but they're not good at overcoming that objection. So they're listening to the objection going, okay, I'll call you back 6 months from now. Because they haven't been coached and trained in how to work that muscle and overcome an objection, okay? Because you're going to get this opposition. So look at what I'm doing. Let's just say, how many people could commit to the first 3 things right there? At least doing that the last 90 days of the year. It's 15 activities. You may say, I can't do all 5 a day. I can do 3. I can do 2. But I can do more than what I'm currently doing. So let me put it to you this way. Do you think the top professionals are at least prospecting maybe an hour to 2 hours a day? Yes or no? Yeah. I think most top professionals are prospecting 9 to 11, 1 to 3, 8 to 10. At least 2 hours a day they're spending trying to generate business, create leads. The top people, okay? Now, look at this one right here. Remember this concept of top 25 I shared with you? Anybody want to give me a reminder on what the top 25 is?
That is people that you're closest to, that's drinking your Kool-Aid, they believe in everything that you do.
Good.
That's your closest.
Yeah.
The people you go out and eat with, spend time with.
Okay, now let me ask you this question. So they're not just drinking the Kool-Aid, they're swimming in it.
Yeah.
They, for some reason, love you. Because you have most likely got them to a much better state in their life. What if you had 25 people sending you 3 referrals a year? Would 75 referrals be good? So here's the question. How do I get 25 of you to constantly refer me to your network of people so I'm getting 75 referrals a year? How would you coach me to do that? Say Joe and Mike are my top 25. Okay? And Joe can call me on anything I'm saying today because I follow up with him. He'll tell you how I follow up with him.
All the time.
I practice what I preach. I'm not sitting there telling you things I'm not doing. I promise you. You call me on if you think I'm hypocritical because I promise I'll try to do everything I'm telling you. So here's the thing. What if Mike and Joe are in my top 25 and Blake's in my top 25? How do I constantly, let's say I got 350 customers, but these 3 guys are in my top 25. Blake's got a big megaphone. He's out there circulating with purpose. He's seeing a lot of people all the time. He's selling to the same people I'm selling to. How do I own that little piece of real estate in his mind that every time he's out there talking to people and something comes up and they need a coach, he tells them me? How do I own that? What would you tell me to do? Would you tell me to have high touch and high frequency with him? Yes or no? Yes. Stay in his face all the time. Would you tell me that? Yes. I mean constantly. I mean not even give him a chance to recommend anybody else but me. Well, imagine doing that with just 25 people. Let's say you've helped 300 people in your lifetime. Imagine narrowing that down to just 25. Or if you're new, 5. Staying in their face all the time. But here's the deal. They can't be in the top 25 unless what? They have referral capacity. And they are willing to fight for you. Everybody with me? They can't be a buddy you got that don't have any friends. They got to be, that's a friend. I'm talking about they can only be in your top 25 if they are willing to stand up and go, nope, I'm not letting you use anybody else except this person right here. So I believe the most money that could be made in a selling system, in my opinion, is right there. So if you did nothing but work these 25 or 10 or 15 relationships, okay, I know mortgage people right now working on agents that are doing 75 to 100 deals a year. Let's say they get a high percentage of those. If they crack that relationship and get in there, that's a big feeder system. Imagine having 2 real estate agents doing 90 to 100 deals a year, and you only got to deal with 3 agents versus 20. Wouldn't that be nice? You ain't going to crack in that relationship unless you're right there, knocking on the door, waiting for somebody to screw up, right there. And then the opportunity is going to come. It's going to be like, hey, we're ready, man. You've been knocking on the door. Here's your shot. So my point right here is this is really where you can make the most money. So every week I'm calling out on my top 25, trying to spend time with them. Okay? Now, here's all the other things you could be doing. I'm not going to go into this one. If you're not doing customer appreciation events, here's just what I would tell you. You're losing a lot of money on the back end of the loan. Would you agree with me? I would never put my future in the hands of a real estate agent. Never. Not in a million years. Not in 10 trillion years. Never. What I would do is take that future back. I would build some powerhouse relationships. I would focus a lot on being incredibly good for that buyer. And I'd try to get those referrals on the back end of the relationship. Because I would never put my future in 1 or 2 people's hands. I can't do it. It's not fair to my wife and not fair to my daughter to put my financial future in 1 or 2 people's hands. It's irresponsible on my part. I can't justify it. You follow me? So how do we do that? Think customer appreciation. Think after the fact. 98% of real estate agents and mortgage originators never call a customer back once they close a house. But the average referral should be worth 5.7 referrals. Everybody with me? See how much money we're losing on the back end? When should we start it? When's buyer's remorse kick in on a mortgage? Come on, wake up. Come on, work with me here. Work with me here. Come on. Thank you. I think when they sign the papers.
Right at the end, yeah.
Right? I'm scared. You know why I'm scared? I just bought a big house. I don't know if I can make the payments. You know what you should do? If you don't see them at that close, you should call them that day. Congratulations, this is beautiful. You should call them 2 days after. You should call them 2 weeks after. You should call them 2 months after. You should find a way to stay in their life. I try to find a way to get on their property. Hey, if I hold a barbecue for you and your closest friends, can we sit down and celebrate this house for you? I would find a way to weave myself into their life. Right? Because 5.7 referrals are on the line here. Look at how many deals that we could get if we just followed up post-closing. Right? And some of the best mortgage originators in the world have no post-closing follow-up. This cannot be automated. Does automation make any of y'all want to refer somebody? Any of y'all get a crappy email and say, hey, I need to call that person? No. It's got to be human. It's got to be, I'm going to find a way to stay in your life over the next thing. So out of these things, which ones do you think you can commit to do? This is only if you want to show increase in your business. If you don't want to show increase in your business, then you can keep doing what you're currently doing, and you're going to keep getting the same, right? If you're doing 2 deals a month, you're going to stay at 2. If that's okay, then that's okay. Satisfied needs never motivate a person, only unsatisfied needs. Okay? So which one do you think would be the hardest out of these? Okay? Now, let me explain this. Anybody know what a nonlinear touch is? A linear touch is where I come right back at you and I try to sell you something. I come straight at you. All right, have you seen enough to make a decision? Have you seen enough to take action? That's linear. A nonlinear touch is where I've created something to make you think about using me. So when I'm going to Joe, it's not, have you seen enough to make a decision? Have you seen enough to make a decision? It's like, Joe, let me tell you what I'm doing with 3 other mortgage companies. Joe, read this blog I just wrote. Joe, watch this video I just created on the 90-day burn. Those are called nonlinear touches. I'm just making him think. I'm not coming right at him. So think of like boxing. We jab, and we jab, and we jab, and then what do? Hook. We jab, we jab, and then we hook. That's how you follow up with people. You just jab. Think about this. Just think about it. But if it don't make me think. So what you can't do is say, I was thinking about you, woke up, following up, do you have any questions? Have you had a chance to think about any of this stuff? Those are all things that will not get a person to take action. Okay? Anything else that would be hard? Who will commit to at least trying some of this 90-day burn stuff? Okay, that's good. That's a good percentage. Typically out of 30 mortgage originators I coach, you know how many people actually take action on things? 4. How many? 4 to 6? 4 to 6 out of all the people I coach, any arena, don't matter what it is, if I'm coaching 30 real estate agents, about 5 of those real estate agents will take serious action. There will be 25 that sit in there and do this. Got it. Good. Yes. Gonna do it. Gonna make $1 million. And then they will walk right out of there and do what they've been doing. Everybody with me? I see it. It doesn't matter what industry I'm in. Most people will just keep doing the same thing they're doing right now. They will not shift. They will not change gears. They just will not. Okay? So here's what I want you thinking. 13% early adopters. Early adopters get on board. Go try something new. Those are the people that make all the money. Percentage of people sit in the middle. Wait to see what the early adopters do. Wait to see what the laggards do. Some get on board and some don't. Then you got a group of laggards over here that never do anything that you tell them to do. It don't matter if you move in with them or Tony Robbins moved in with them. They ain't moving. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't moving. So here's what I've chosen to do in my career. And I just did this over the last couple of months. I've chosen to only focus on the people who are serious about moving. So now I go into real estate companies, and I used to go and try to coach the whole company. And we take on a whole company, and I get 6 out of 30 to take action, and the broker would focus all their time on the 24 that were not doing something. And I'd be like, you got to quit doing that. Focus on the 6 that are making money. Who cares about what these 24 are doing? So then I started going to real estate companies, and I said, look, I only want to coach people who are serious about getting better. I don't even want all of them. I only want the 6 in the room who are serious. And that's it. Because we're going to spend all of our time with the 24 goofing off. We're not going to move them. They don't want to move. Why fight? Why fight with them? Let's just go in there and focus on the ones that are going to just want to crush it. I mean, absolutely just dominate it. That's the only 6 I want. You would be shocked what happens when we did that. Those 6 raise their hand and say, I'm interested. I want to be a monster. We don't try to convince people anymore. That was my old thinking. Let's try to convince them that they can be better. Nah. Let's only go after the people that want to be the best. That make sense? You should only want to do business with other people that want to do business with you. Isn't that right? If you got to spend all your time convincing, begging, manipulating, then this is not going to be a good relationship for you. Because you are always going to be in a supplicated position to them. That means they're always winning and you're always losing. I believe in vested partnership, not a one-sided relationship. Everybody with me? So I want to really encourage you here at the end of the year. I know you're tired. I know you're fatigued. I know this business can make you incredibly cynical. I'm a positive person, but sometimes I wake up with a negative attitude of trying to push people so hard who don't want it. I can become negative, right? And I have to remind myself, I'm not looking for everybody. I'm only looking for the ones that are looking for me. And that's the only thing you're looking for too. So at the end of the year, you owe it to yourself to push across the finish line and build so much incredible momentum that you go into 2018 on fire, not having to crank that engine up again. You finish strong. You don't limp across the finish line. Fair enough? Blake, thank you for bringing the bundt cakes. I think that's how you say them. But bringing the goodies. Joe and Mike, thank you for bringing your team together. And I'm going to be around just a few minutes after we get finished today. And if there's people in this room that are serious about playing at the next level, I mean really serious. Not kind of serious, not pretend serious, not you think you can be serious. I'm talking about the serious players that are interested. Then we already have 6 or 7 people in Monster Producer and Accurate. We've got the new folks, right? And they're coachable and they're hungry, and I love them because they're coachable and they're hungry. Joe's in Mega Monster, getting coached. So if you're in this room, we're putting a special offer together for people that at Accurate that get a little bit of a discounted rate because you already got 6 or 7 people in. If there's people in this room that want to get coached, just raise your hand at the end and come up and see me. Say, man, I'm serious. I want 2018 to be the biggest year I've ever had. And I promise you, I'll get you the results if you'll get in there and dig in with me. Fair enough? All right, guys. God bless you. Thanks for having me today.